I am Dark Bloom. I am Dark Bloom.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the World Online Racing Championship Series here on iRacing, the Dirt Midget Tour that is presented by Mr. Ocean CM3882 on YouTube. Check him out. Logo will be in the bottom left corner most of the night. We are here at Lanier for round 2 of this 11-round championship series, and we are excited to run 100 laps here at Lanier in the dirt after an exciting round 1 last week at Volusia. Tonight we have 25 drivers in the field. Top 20 will make it to the main event, and they have just rounded out qualifying, and in about 30 seconds the first heat race will start tonight. While we wait on that to happen, let's check out the points standings so far after round 1. We've got David Shane, our last week's winner, sitting on top in the first place. Darren Stark in second. Mason Coffey in third. Jimmy Barrett in fourth. Brayson Collins in fifth. In sixth, we've got Aiden Forrester. Seventh, Caden Snyder. Josh Patterson in eighth. Cameron McHone in ninth. And Jacob Dove in 10th. And real quick, while we wait on that, let's head on over to the first heat race. Tonight we will have, in the first heat, Colin Shane starting on pole there. Outside of him, Craig Silby in second, Hunter Walker in third, Brayson Collins in fourth, Henry Clappert in fifth, Max Stevenson in sixth, Aaron Griffin in seventh, Paul Granata in eighth, and Patrick Spangler there in the ninth position. Top 4 will advance in this heat, and the others will have a chance to race in the consolation race later on this evening. The number 8 there, Craig Silby, was having a great run last week. I believe he was caught up in an incident toward the end of the race, so we'll be watching him here in this heat, starting on that outside row. And of course, Brayson Collins having to race his way in last week in the consolation, making a last lap pass to get in the main event. He'll be starting in fourth place there in that purple, white, and black dirt midget there. And the pace lights are off the pace truck, so they will get going this time around for a 8-lap heat. And the green is out. You see the 78 there of Shane get off to a great start. Right behind him, the 42 of Walker. Meanwhile, the 8 of Sylvia up there in the high lane, going to get a run around the 42 of Walker there. Move up into second place. Meanwhile, further on back, we've got an accident. We've got one in the wall. That is Aaron Griffin, the 29, unfortunately, in the wall there. But meanwhile, up front, the 78 of Shane starting to pull away from the 8 there. You can see all these guys except for the 34. They're running on the bottom lane. The 051 there of Patrick Spangler looking to make a move on the 34 of Clappert. And just checking in up front here, 6/10 of a gap, 6/10 of a second gap there to first and second place. So Silby in second, Hunter Walker starting to close that gap in on Silby. We'll see if he can round him in. Meanwhile, these guys are getting pretty spread out. We see Brayson there in the number 5 machine running in 6th place currently. See the 34 of Clappert run a little wide there. That's going to allow Brayson to get a run down the backstretch, and he's going to move up the track, take that middle lane around here. Out here searching for the grip. Meanwhile, pretty much status quo up here, about a 5/10 half-second gap between Colin Shane in that 78, who started on the pole, and Craig Silby there in the 8, who started in third. And as I was just saying that, Silby made up quite a bit of ground there on that last lap as we approach the final lap here. 0.2 of a second is the gap. He's closing in there on the bottom. You can see the 78 running very defensive line there on the bottom. Not going to allow the 8 to come in and get a slide job on him. And it looks like the 78 of Shane is going to take the win in the first heat. And 051 of Spangler going to come home in fourth in that final transfer spot. Meanwhile, Craig Silby will come home second. We'll pull the official results up here just a second. Craig Silby there finished it out in second, Hunter Walker in third, and then, like I said, Patrick Spangler there finishing fourth in that last transfer spot. Brayson Collins, unfortunately, finishing fifth there outside of the transfer spot, but he will have another opportunity again later on in the race in the consolation. Max Stevenson, Paul Granata, and Aaron Griffin. Meanwhile, in this heat, we have the starting on pole, Mason Coffey there. Outside of him, Aiden Forrester in second, Cameron McCone, Jacob Dove, Colton Coe, Jeremy Folkerts, Ryan Martin, and Aiden Kirker. Already see a little love tap going on there between these first two, the 020 there, Forrester, and the 52 of Coffey. I'm hoping that's a friendly little nudge and not a malicious nudge, but we'll see how that turns out here later as we run these 8 laps here in this second heat. The 52 of Coffey off to a great start. 020 Forrester behind him. Meanwhile, we've got 3 wide action going on between the 89 of Dove, the 031 of May. You can see that the 89 there on the outside line can't get the run down there. Meanwhile, we got a battle for second brewing up here between the 020 of Forrester and the 06 there of McCone in that pink machine. Gonna take a look on the outside. You can see the opposite lock on the front end there that the 06 car had. Just could not get the front tires to grip. Could not get that car to rotate. And he's going to lose out quite a bit of time here on second place. Looks like a pass just got made there for that fourth place spot. The 89 of Dove up into fourth place, but the 031 there of May not going to give up. And we actually just had a little bit of contact further up in front of them. The 52 and the 7, we've had a pass for the lead. Real quick, we'll go back and check that out. Oh, we saw some, he got into the wall there, so little mistake. That's going to allow the 020 of Forrester there into first place, the 06 of McCone in second. And we've got a battle back here, 3 wide. See the 89 of Dove getting a great run down there on the outside. We're starting to see that outside lane come in, but no, he's going to get into the back of the 7. 2 to go. This last transfer spot is pretty much anyone's at this point. You see a little contact there between the 031 of May and final lap. So far, the 06 here in the pink machine, well, he had the transfer spot, but the 28 of Coe moves up into fourth. Is he going to hang on to it? He is, with a last lap pass there. The 28 of Coe making it up into fourth position to get that transfer spot. Good job by him. Meanwhile, the 020 there of Aiden Forrester takes it home first after we saw Mason Coffey there make a mistake. That allowed him to get the victory there in that second heat. Meanwhile, let's bring up the official results really quick. You can see Aiden Forrester, Mason Coffey, Andrew May, Colton Coe there. That'll be the 4 that transfer through. Cameron McCone, Jacob Dove, Ryan Martin, Jeremy Folkerts, and Aiden Kirker. All right, starting our third heat, we have John Canizaro Jr. on the outside pole. And hey, John, I shout out to you. This is Kevin McCann. Apparently, we raced each other last night in the Xfinity Series. So good to see you out here. Aaron Trotter there outside of him in second. James Barrett Jr. in third. Jay Mulder in fourth. Darren Stark in fifth. Christian Visconti there in sixth. Keelan Belsha in seventh. And Ryan Kame in eighth. And the pace lights are off the pace truck. We will get going green to start this third heat. Remember, the top four transfer in. There is a consolation. And they're off. Outside lane getting the better jump there. Aaron Trotter jumping out front there in front of the 17 of Canizaro. See Canizaro there in the 17. Going to look on that high line. Looks like the high line has a little bit more grip right now. We'll see how long the 46 of Trotter there stays on that bottom side. Meanwhile, James Barrett Jr. up here having a great run in third. He's going to stay on the bottom line there and hold off the 55 there of Stark. Meanwhile, the 51 of Mulder there making a pass on the outside. Now looking at the back of Barrett. And we'll see that 55 there just of Stark take it a little bit too hard into and didn't have the grip to stay down in that bottom track. Came up, made a little bit of contact. We've got a little more contact. No, disastrous for the 55 and the 17 of Canizaro. Unfortunately, they will be out. The 46 of Trotter, meanwhile, 5/10 of a second lead. James Barrett Jr. here up into second because of that. Well, he's got 4 laps to go. We'll see if he can have anything for him. Like Barrett maybe having a little bit of connection issues too. That might not help his case. Jay Mulder in the 51 there, right behind him in third. Darren Stark in fourth right now, so that is the transfer position. Keelan Belsha about half a second behind him. Gap is still about a half a second between these top two. Coming up to the last lap here. See the 46 of Aaron Trotter still running on the bottom side. I thought we would have that high line come in by now, so that is a little bit surprising. You see him slide up the track there in turns 3 and 4, but he will take the checkered flag for this heat. James Barrett Jr. will come home second. Jay Mulder there in third, and Darren Stark in fourth for that final transfer position. All right, now the consolation will start. 12-lap consolation race here. We'll go over the starting grid for that. Starting on pole here in the consolation race, Brayson Collins in that number 5 machine for Dark Horse Racing. Cameron McHone in second. Keelan Belsha in third. Henry Clapper in fourth. Jacob Dove in fifth. Ryan Kame in sixth. Max Stevenson in seventh. Ryan Martin in eighth. In ninth, we've got John Canizaro Jr., Paul Granata in 10th. Jeremy Folkerts in 11th. Christian Visconti in 12th. Aaron Griffin in 13th. And Aiden Kirker rounding out the 14th position. We will see what Collins can do here in this prime starting position. So far, it does look like the bottom line is still dominant. We'll see if he can get out to an early lead, but we know McHone is fast from the previous heats and qualifying, so Brayson is going to have quite a bit of a challenge ahead of him. We also know John Canizaro Jr. here, starting back in 9th, unfortunately involved in an incident in his heat. He's fast. We'll see how quickly he can move up the field. And meanwhile, we come to the green flag, slow to get started there. The 5 and the '06 of McHone there making a little bit of contact. Right behind them, we've got 3 wide action. Like the 34 of Clappert. It's going to make it through. Meanwhile, the 5 of Collins here going to fight back on the inside, try to regain that lead from that crazy start there we saw where they just got stuck together. But McHone there in that pink car, he's going to come around on the outside. He's trying to make that top line work. We're starting to see that bottom line fall off and get slick. As you can see, Brayson taking a little bit of a different line there. He entered high, exit low. Doesn't look like it's going to work. And we've got the 34 here of Clappert looking to make something happen here. Get up into 3rd position and make a pass on the 89 of Dove. Saw it very close. The 89 of Dove almost got into the back of Collins. See Collins running a very different line from Dove. But the 34 looks like he might be able to clear him this lap. No, they touch. Good job, but both drivers are going to keep going. Meanwhile, the 06 there of Cameron McCollum's pulled out to about a half-second lead. Let's check back here to see what kind of action we've got going on. Ryan Martin here up into the 5th position. See if he looks to the inside of the 89 of Dove here on this lap. And we can see here, like Keelan Belsha has moved up to the very top of the track, searching for that cushion. Just checking around. We don't see anyone on the very bottom anymore. Brayson Collins, the only one brave enough to run in the slick right now. Ooh, and we can see a mistake there out of the 34 of Clapper, just over-rotating. Had to get out of the gas. That's going to cost him quite a bit of time. Collins, meanwhile, made up a little bit of ground that last lap. But we have 3 to go here. I don't think he's going to have enough time unless McHone makes a mistake. And it looks like McHone is going to extend his lead by a few tenths that lap. Look for any kind of action here on the track. The closest thing we have here is Jeremy Folkerts in the 01 there, taking a look on this last lap. On the outside of the 04 of Paul Granada. Is he going to make it work? Meanwhile, Cameron McHone going to take home the victory. Brayson Collins coming home in a good finish in 2nd. And it looks like Jeremy Folkerts did get that pass made, so good job by him. Oh, no, I'm sorry, he did not. But the top 9 transferred in. Stevenson there was the last one to transfer in there, but we'll pull up the results here in just a second. In the consolation, the official results are Cameron McCollum taking home that victory, Brayson Collins in 2nd, Henry Clappert in 3rd, Jacob Dove in 4th, Ryan Martin in 5th, Keelan Belsha in 6th, Paul Granada in 7th, Jeremy Folkerts in 8th, Aaron Griffin in 9th, and that was your last one to transfer in. Max Stevenson in 10th, Ryan Kame, John Canizero Jr., Christian Visconti, and Aiden Kirker rounding it out there in 14th position. Guys, we'll have a 3-minute warm-up session now. And then we will start our final event. Top 20 from tonight have raced their way into the main event here. While the guys are warming up, we'll take a look at the series schedule here. We had a great first round at Volusia last week. We are at Lanier this week. Next week we head to Charlotte, the dirt track at Charlotte. Lima Land after that, Eldora, USA, Bristol Dirt, Cedar Lake, Knoxville, Kokomo, And then our 11th round, final round there, the Chili Bowl, which I am personally really excited to see that these guys do 20 cars around that very tiny track. About a minute left in the warm-up here. Then we will get our main event started. Good performance out there by James Barrett Jr. so far. We saw him work his way up in the consolation there after having a mistake in his heat race. Excited to see what he can do in this main event. Craig Silby there in the 8 car had a strong finish last week. Looking good tonight so far. Excited to see what he can do. About 15 seconds here, and we will grid up for the main event. All right, starting grid for our main event tonight. We have James Barrett Jr. on the pole. Outside him, Mason Coffey, Craig Silby in 3rd, Aaron Trotter in 4th, Aiden Forrester in 5th, Colin Shane in 6th, Hunter Walker in 7th, Andrew May in 8th, Jay Mulder in 9th, Patrick Spangler in 10th, Colton Coe in 11th, Aaron Stark in 12th. In 13th, we have Cameron McHone, Brayson Collins in 14th, Henry Clappert in 15th, Jacob Dove in 16th, Ryan Martin in 17th, Keelan Belsha in 18th, Paul Granata in 19th, and rounding it out in 20th, Jeremy Folkerts. Our boy James Barrett Jr. here on the pole in that 68 machine. We'll see what he can do here tonight. Starting on that inside line, we already know the dominant lane is the outside line, so he has to have a great start here and hopefully can get up into the sticky part of the track, find that traction. But we know Coffey here, Mason Coffey in the 52, another fast driver. He's going to do everything he can to get the lead here in these first few opening laps. And then also Craig Silby. He's an aggressive but fast driver. Excited to see what he does here from 3rd position as we will get going green this time around.
Green flag, green flag.
And they're off. Good jump by Barrett there. He is out front. Meanwhile, behind him, we've got about, it looked like the 8 got into the wall there momentarily on the inside. See the 78 of Colin Shane do an excellent move up right through the middle there. Going to take away the spot from Craig Silby. And now he's looking on the inside there of Aaron Trotter. And looks like he's not going to be able to complete that pass. Meanwhile, up front, Barrett Jr. with about a 0.3 of a second lead. Mason Coffey right behind him. You see Barrett still on that bottom line and making it work. Meanwhile, most everyone else is running higher up the track. We do see Colin Shane there in that 78. Oh, the 8 just tried a slide job and made contact with the 031 of May there. The 55 of Stark, currently up 4 positions since the start of the race. They are spread out up here in the top 5, so the next closest action back here is with the 8 of Silby, the 55 of Darren Stark, and the 42 there of Walker. We see a big slide job from the 55 of Stark. That's going to allow the 8 by up into 6th position here. Out front, Bear Jr. has extended his lead to over half a second, still on that bottom line, making it work. Coffee has about half a second lead here on third place for number 46 of Trotter. And here we have some action. Oh, you see the 42 of Walker just get in there and over-rotate the car. Going to have to get out of the gas. 3 wide off of turn 2 here between the 5 of Collins and the 42. And the 020 of Forrester. See Collins looking down on the bottom side here in that number 5. A few guys moving their way up to the very top of the track. Meanwhile, we have a battle here for third place. The 78 of Shane and the 46 of Trotter. See the 46 of Trotter go on the high side. The 78 of Shane going to stay low. And right behind them, the 8 of Silby closing in on the 031 of May. Probably expect a slide job in this turn right here. Calling it, and I called it right. Perfectly executed, but can May come back on the inside? No. Well, say that, but he hasn't given up yet. The 8 getting a great run off of turn 2 there. Making that high side work, and we have a yellow. Like Darren Stark in the 55 gonna be involved in the incident here. Oh, just clipping the inside wall there. It's one of the dangers of running so close on that bottom line, just like it would be if you were running all the way at the top. It get into the wall, and it is disastrous in these cars. Right, let's check in on our biggest movers tonight. We have the 5 of Brayson Collins here, up 4 positions since the start of the race. Also, Jacob Dove here in the 89, also up 4 positions. And Jeremy Folkers here in the 01. I believe he started in last place. He's worked his way up to 16th. And the pace truck is off, and they are underway. Everybody was really spread out on that restart because they had to wait on the pace truck to come around. But James Barrett Jr. getting a great jump there off to the early lead. Meanwhile, behind them, the 8 of Silby looking on the high side to make a move on Shane and Trotter. Meanwhile, Coffee there, Mason Coffee in the 52 there in second place, looking to run down James Barrett Jr., but it looks like Barrett Jr. is quicker, going to pull away. See Brayson Collins here in the 5, defending from the 51 of Mulder. And we have another yellow flag. Like Colton Coe, Colin Shane may have been involved in that. The Colin Shane here. You see the 8 of Silby get into the 78. 78 paying back the 8 there with a little bump, but unfortunately the car behind him gave him a bump as well. We had a spin. Let's see, we've got one other, Colton Coe. Oh, that's what brought the yellow out there. Colton Coe just getting into the wall and flipping over. He does keep it going though. This battle here between the 8 of Silby and I'm going to go back and watch who that was that he was getting contact with. It was the 78. So the 8 and 78 here, this is going to be interesting to watch. Colin Shane and Craig Silby. Meanwhile, they get going green. Barrett Jr. down into turn 1, getting a great jump. Mason Coffey right behind him. Craig Silby looking on the outside of Aaron Trotter. See Craig Silby driving it deep down into the turns, making it work, running that high side. As he pulls up onto the back of Mason Coffey, our second place car. And we have another caution flag. Looks like Ryan Martin, Paul Granata may be involved in this one. So we see Ryan Martin there in the number 9 machine. Get into the back of the 04 and the 28 caught up in that as well, Colton Coe. The 04 of Paul Granata getting the worst end of that deal. Meanwhile, once we get going green here, we'll have less than 10 laps remaining. In our main event this evening, James Barrett Jr. has led every lap this race. Can anyone beat him? That is the question. Mason Coffey has been hanging with him, but just unable to make a move. Meanwhile, we're going to call the 8 of Craig Silby here the firecracker, because he is on fire, making some very aggressive moves out there tonight and working his way up. It's going to start in 4th. Brayson Collins up 5 positions since the start of the race, currently in 9th. As they get ready to start here, 68 of Barrett Jr. getting a great early jump. See the 8 of Silby there, right on the tail of Mason Coffey in the 52 on the outside lane. The 46 of Aaron Trotter down running that bottom line. See, he slides up there into the slick. I think that is going to let the 8 get clear this time. We see the 52 of Coffey go down to the bottom. And we have another caution. Jay Mulder may be involved in that. Let's go back and see if we can find it. Jay Mulder there in the 51. And we've got another victim of the front stretch outside wall there. We know in these cars it's very slick on the straightaway as they all run down the same line. And it's, you know, for those of you that aren't familiar with dirt racing, it might seem kind of odd that we see most of the wrecks happening on the straightaway, but I can actually tell you that is very common, especially in these dirt midgets. Once the track gets really slick, there's no grip, and going down the straightaway can actually be problematic and very difficult sometimes. Just a little too much throttle and the car will want to turn right on you, suck you up into that wall, and once you make contact, well, you saw the end result. We will get going here for a little 4-lap shootout here. Once we go green, James Barrett Jr. out front. Led every lap this race so far. Mason Coffey there in the 52 going to start second. We'll see what he can do here on the start as James Barrett Jr. gets a great jump. Went high a little bit in turns 1 and 2 there, but it seems to not hurt him as Coffey struggles to get the power down. Meanwhile, we've got Craig Silby up there in the 8, making moves on the outside. Can he make that outside lane work? Right behind him, he's got Aaron Trotter on the inside. Colin Shane in the 78 up there, catching back up to the 8. That is one of the battles we want to see tonight. Looks like Barrett Jr. taking the 2 to go there. Sliding up the track a little bit. Coffee catching up. Can he get a nose in there as they approach turns 3 and 4?
The yellow flag is out.
Oh, we've got another caution. We've got a couple people involved in that. We've got Jeremy Folkerts here in the 01. Oh, we saw a car just get loose right in front of him there, over rotate. It's like Aiden Forrester there in the 020 might have made contact into the back of the 01. No. Sorry, that's just a timing issue or timing scoring screen. We will have a green-white checkered attempt here. 2 laps. I believe the restart will be single file, but we'll get some confirmation here in just a second. Yep, look like we are going to have a single file restart here. We'll see if Mason Coffee and that 52 machine can get a run here as they're off. James Barrett Jr. getting a great start. See the 52, the 78, and the 8 right here. About ready to get together on the track again, and we have another yellow. Meanwhile, the 8 is up into the wall with heavy damage and collecting another car with him there as well. Like Aiden Forrester in the 020 here is going to be the one that brought the yellow out. And you can see right here's off the start. You can see just over rotating the car on entry there. All right, we'll have green-white checkered attempt number 2 here. Barrett Jr. still out front. Coffee right behind him in the 52. And 78 of Shane made a couple passes there on that last restart. He's up into that 3rd position. Looks like we'll get going green this time for green-white checkered attempt number 2. 2-lap shootout. James Barrett Jr. going to take the green flag here. Getting off to a great start. We see Colin Shane in the 78 going to take to the high side there. Looks like Trotter under pressure there from the 051 of Spangler. We've got a car up in the fence, but we have taken the white flag, so we will finish it out here. James Barrett Jr. out front by half a second. Coffee right behind him. Oh no. Caution did come out. And unfortunately, that will be the end of tonight's race, as we were only allocated 2 green-white checkered attempts tonight. So James Barrett Jr. taking home the victory. We'll get the official results up here as soon as we can. Official results tonight. James Barrett Jr. taking home the win here at the Peach State Classic round 2 at Lanier. Andrew May coming home 2nd. Colin Shane being 3rd. Aaron Trotter in 4th. Patrick Spangler in 5th. Craig Silby in 6th. Brayson Collins with a good top 10 here up into 7th. Jacob Dove in 8th. Cameron McHone in 9th. Ryan Martin in 10th. Colton Coe in 11th. Henry Clappert in 12th, Mason Coffee in 13th, Hunter Walker in 14th, Jay Mulder in 15th, Jeremy Folkerts in 16th, Paul Granada there in 17th, Darren Stark 18th, Keelan Belsha 19th, and Aiden Forrester there in the 20th position. Right, we'll get the guys up here for some interview action. Top 3. And we are going to talk to our third place finisher first, Colin Shane. Colin, hey, it's Kevin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hello?
Hey, Colin, it's Kevin up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy on us?
Yep.
Hey, man, congratulations on your third place finish tonight, bringing that 78 machine home in third. To walk us through tonight, how difficult was that track and how difficult was it to make passes?
Well, at the beginning, it was really difficult to pass everybody on the bottom track, but then at the very end of that race, it moved up to the top. That's how I got third here, just by running that top side.
Gotcha. Yeah, we saw kind of mixed results there at the end. We saw some people still trying to make the bottom work. We saw some people jump up to the top, making that work. But it looks like you made the top work too. And I'm just getting some words that our official results may be off. You might have actually got scored in second position. We'll get some clarification on that after here. But either way, third or second, good finish for you tonight. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to while you're here?
My parents, T46 Graphics, DSR Setups, my league, WORC for letting me race in this. My race team gives me a lot of things that I don't need, and yeah, just everybody that helps me out, and yeah.
Awesome. Well, again, congratulations on your finish tonight. Good run from you, and we'll see you next week at Charlotte.
All right, thanks.
All right, we're still waiting on the official results. Apparently, maybe what on our screen is not correct. So we're gonna interview a few people here. We know who the winner was, but the contention or the discussion is for second place. But let's go ahead and we'll bring up Aaron Trotter. Hey, Aaron, it's Kevin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I got a copy.
Hey, man, I would say congratulations on your whatever place finish, but it looks like they're still trying to figure that out there. The league admins are. Apparently what iRacing is showing is not accurate, but they're saying you're in the top 3, so I don't know whether to give you a second or third, but
Hey,
you know,
I'll take it.
yeah, hey, up here, iRacing shows 4th, but we'll let them figure that out. But anyway, good run from you tonight. Tell us, how difficult was that track out there, and how difficult was it to make passes?
Oh, it was pretty difficult. The bottom was still there at the beginning. Then I noticed towards the end the top started getting in there, and it was very unique track, I thought.
We saw quite a few people struggling to get the front end to grip and turn, and then we saw quite a few people over rotating. Which one did you have difficulty with tonight?
My car did feel a little loose because fixed setups. It's hard to get them to be good towards the end of the night. But I just I counteracted it with just having good throttle control, not stomping on it. That helps a lot.
Yeah, we saw quite a few accidents happen on the straightaways. We know these cars are ridiculously hard to control down the straightaway when it gets very slick like that. Did you have any brush ups in the wall tonight?
I don't think so, and I think I was pretty clean for the night's race. I did get into my teammate Colin Shane just a little bit there, and I felt a little bad about that, but he still had a pretty good finish for tonight, so I'm good with it.
All right. Well, again, congratulations on your finish. I can't quite tell you where right now, but anyway,
Yeah,
congratulations. Is there
thank
anybody you
you.
want to give a shout out to while you're here?
I'd like to give a big shout out to Darren Stark, DSR Setups. He's helped a lot. He's taught me a lot of stuff about setups and how to drive, and just overall a lot about iRacing. I can't thank him enough. I'd like to thank my own brand, T46 Graphics. Um, I've sponsored our team BSR, and we've been doing pretty good in the series so far. So I'm pretty proud about that. Our other sponsors, Renault Chassis, um, Crowds Up Landscaping, and I think that's it.
All right. Well, again, congratulations. We'll hopefully be talking to you next week there at Charlotte.
Thank you.
All right. Now we'll bring up our tonight's main event winner, James Barrett Jr. Is Kevin up in the booth? You got a copy?
Yes, I do, Kevin.
Hey, man, congratulations on straight up dominating the main event, starting on pole, led every lap. How you feeling right now?
Sweaty. Very sweaty. AC was on the coldest setting and I'm still sweating right now.
Oh, I understand. It looked like you were wheeling that car. We saw you running the bottom lane, I believe, most of the night. Never made the switch up top. Tell us about that. Was that just your preferred choice? Did you feel like it was faster? Was it easier to run down at the bottom? We saw quite a few guys having trouble at the top, getting into the wall and stuff.
Yeah, no, I just kept taking little glances up there to just looking up there, see what the line was looking like, and it was getting so close to the wall I didn't dare even go up there. And the bottom it was so fast from the start. The setup that we were running tonight seemed like it just fit my driving style pretty well, and just decided to keep rolling that bottom. Teammate Mason Coffey was getting pretty close to me there towards the end, but we did a little team discussion there, and yeah, managed to get the win.
Oh, did you guys have a little team orders? Wait till the last lap, race each other hard then, or what went on
Nope.
there?
No, it was more or less, hey, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. Just try and hold position if you can. If we think one of us is faster than the other, let them by without losing too many spots. That's pretty much the only real team orders that went on this whole race.
I gotcha. Well, you guys had you had a strong finish last weekend with your team, right?
Yes, correct. We had first and second. We added Mason Coffey, so that's third from last week, and myself fourth.
All right. Well, again, congratulations on the victory tonight. Hey, while you're here, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I gotta thank everybody at Barrett Sim Racing, all the drivers, everybody who's associated with us. T46 Graphics for getting us these brand new paints in pretty short notice. I think they got 5 or 6 of them done for us for tonight's race. DSR Setups just came aboard just a couple days ago. Fantastic setups for midgets, sprint cars, 358s, everything. Those are the only setups that they got right now because they're pretty new, but we're happy to have them on board.
Awesome, awesome. Well, again, congratulations on that victory. Next week, we head out to Charlotte, the dirt track at Charlotte. You think you got something for him there?
Don't know. I'm not really a fan of Charlotte. Hasn't really been a good track for me on iRacing, so we'll just go into it, turn a bunch of practice laps. I think we turned maybe 500-600 laps as a team this week for this race, so hopefully we can do about the same for Charlotte.
All right. Well, again, congratulations on that victory. Congratulations to your team for having a very good finish here. And yeah, good stuff. We'll see you next week.
Yes, have a good one. See you next week.
All right. Well, an eventful main event there. Unfortunately, we weren't able to finish under green, but just getting word that the official results are James Barrett Jr. So disregard what's on the screen up here. It's a little bit incorrect. James Barrett Jr., of course, taking home that victory. Colin Shane coming home in second. Aaron Trotter in third. Patrick Spangler in fourth. And then Andrew May goes down to 5th position. Looks like Brayson Collins is in 6th. Colton Coe in 7th. Jacob Dove in 8th. Cameron McHone in 9th. And Henry Clappert will round out your top 10 tonight. All right, eventful end of the race there. We'll be back next week for the dirt track at Charlotte, round 3. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in here for the World Online Racing Championship Dirt Midget Tour presented by Mr. Ocean CM 3882 on YouTube. Check them out. Logo's in the bottom left. Look them up on YouTube. And we'll be back at Charlotte next week for round 3. But yeah, everybody, thank you for tuning in, and have a great evening.